Hi, welcome back to my Orchid Life. I appreciate you coming over for another visit. If this is your first time here, I hope you decide to come back. Today I'm doing an update with Nina from Ninja's Orchids. We'll be doing an update on our Phalaenopsis that we transitioned into Leca back in June of 2021. So Nina reached out to me and wanted to know if we could do an update. She's got some things going on with her Phalaenopsis Nube. I have a couple of things I can tell you about what my little baby girl here has been doing since the last update in July of 2021, and I will link the videos of the transition as well as the update in the description below. But this is a Phalaenopsis that I purchased from my local Lowe's, which for those of you who don't live in the United States, it's just a big box hardware type store. And at the time, it did not have an identifying tag on it, so I was calling her Red Stripes just because of the beautiful striping that she has in the blooms, and I'll post a picture so you can see. However, about 3 weeks after purchasing her, I went back to that Lowe's, and surprisingly enough, they had some more of Red Stripes, this time with tags. So the tag that came on it is the DTPS Chingurey's Goldstaff, and I'm probably chopping up Chingurey's, and if I am, leave it in the comments below and phonetically spell out how to say it because I've been practicing. And after coming home and doing some Google picture searches, I'm confident that this is the Goldstaff, and that's what I call her for short. And she does have that DTPS growth pattern where it has more of that Vanda look, where she's rather upright. However, when I did transition her in June, she had a gorgeous root system. She had these 6 large leaves that we see here, and she had this spike as well as this little spike here that was beginning. However, it has stalled and stopped. I don't expect it to produce anything, which is fine. It's probably from the transition, but she has potential for more spiking, so I'm not really worried about that part. I initially had put some moss here so that it would encourage root growth, and in about 2 weeks after the transition and adding the moss right here on the top, she did start this root here, which is now going into the pot, as you can see. And recently she started this root, which I'm hoping will go down into the pot. However, if it stays aerial, I will be fine with that, simply because if we take her out, she has roots down in the pot that we can see, and there's a beautiful growing tip on that one. And in the update in July of 2021, when I took her out and cleaned up her roots and kind of gave her another once over, she had lots and lots of growing tips. So I'm fairly confident that there are more roots inside the middle of the pot that we just can't see on the outside. She also, when she started this root here, she also started this leaf here, which I call a stressed leaf. And stressed leaves are those growths that don't quite develop to the right size, or they're very much smaller than the previous. And as you can see, she is much tinier than this leaf here. However, she recently has finished this growth right here, which has, to me, the right shape as the rest of the leaves because it's a little more elongated. She's got that nice point on the end, because if you look, these all have, well, that one doesn't, but most of them have the more point on the end. And now she has also begun this new leaf growth here. So she sits here on this bench in front of the east facing window, and if we just kind of zoom over here, you can see how bright this light is here. Well, what I do is, she doesn't sit straight. She always has sat at an angle, and what I do when the new growths are growing, to train them with the light, I will put them in the direction of that bright spot there, because that is the brightest area. And with this new growth here, she now sits this way. Eventually, as she does get larger, I will Velcro her just to keep her from going this way, because I do have a lot of bright light on this side as well, and it'll keep her from getting wanky. I like to keep my plants as tidy as possible so that I can have more. But that's another story. I don't see any deficiencies on her. Her coloring looks wonderful. I don't see any discoloration where she might be lacking in possibly like magnesium or something. So the way that I fertilize her, initially what I was doing is, she was getting a flush every other day, and I was just leaving CalMag and seaweed at the bottom, and I did that for the first 2 weeks. On the 3rd week, I started started adding MSU fertilizer, and then from then on, again, she was getting flushed every other day, and I would alternate between the CalMag and the seaweed mix, and then the next time it would be MSU fertilizer, and then it would be plain distilled water. Gradually over time, starting in July, I was flushing her every other day, and then I would extend it to every 3 days, and then the following week would be every 4 days, etc., until now she is being flushed once a week. And as far as fertilizing, I am doing the seaweed CalMag, and then the MSU fertilizer, and then the plain distilled water. And the ppms that I'm using for the CalMag seaweed and for the MSU are both around 160, 180. I don't really worry about it too much. I try to keep it under 200 just because she is in active growth. But when I do leave the just plain distilled water, I only leave enough at the bottom just to keep the reservoir wet, and that's just plain distilled water. She doesn't have any nutrients in there. And when I do have the nutrient water in there, I do put it up a little bit higher so that not only is the wick absorbing the nutrients and spreading it around, but the Leca can also absorb it and kind of spread it through. Now, I don't have that much more to say about my girl here, other than the fact that I'm very pleased with the progress. I'm pleased with the transition. I do appreciate Nina's help in making sure that I did it right this time, because in my first video when we were transitioning, I did state I had tried this previously. I was unaware of all of the steps needed to make sure that you had nice clean Leca and all the salts out, and then the flushing after. So I believe that that helped with this success. And as I stated at that time, no, it was in my update, I am thinking of transitioning some more of my Phalaenopsis into Leca, maybe the smaller medium ones, not the larger ones, in the spring, just because I really like the fact that she is the most low maintenance orchid that I have outside of the one that I have in the larger perlite. But this one and that one, they're just so low maintenance. I don't have to water them as often. I literally just water her, like I said, once a week. I flush her, change out the reservoir with whatever feed or plain water is whatever cycle she's on, and I go about my day. I appreciate, again, you guys stopping by. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you would like to see more orchid content. And go check out Nina's video, which I will link in the description below as soon as I get it, so that we can see what's going on with her Phal Nube. I hope everyone is having a wonderful and safe day. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one.